Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
Wow. The Vikings woke up and chose violence this morning in free agency. Kwesi, I don't know if he slept, if he was just cooking all night, but we have a doozy of a show for you guys here, live on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. And I think it's only appropriate, before we dive in, for Judd to please get the flag.
There you go. Early morning flag right there.
The Minnesota Vikings woke up this morning, or maybe not, grabbed a couple of beers and said, okay, let's fix our trenches. This is, by the way, after late last night, Byron Murphy Jr. on a massive contract extension to keep one of the better cornerbacks in the NFL in-house, 27 years old, 3 years, $66 million. Okay, let's go to bed, get up early, or just wait up all night. And this morning, 3 massive moves along the trenches. Will Fries, come on down. You are the new starting, right guard for the Minnesota Vikings?
Yeah, he'll be the right guard by Ryan Kelly.
5 years, $88 million, according to multiple reports. Mm-hmm. And then on the defensive side, Jonathan Allen, who enjoyed himself a nice fun night in either Eagan or downtown Minneapolis. Not sure which restaurant they chose. But they wined, they dined, and they agreed on a 3-year, $60 million contract for the former Washington Commander.
Yep.
And then, and this is still pending a 49ers release, but it sounds like all of this is in the works in the next 48 hours. 32-year-old, high-end, dare I say, elite interior defensive pass rusher, Javon Hargrave, also will become a Minnesota Viking. Yeah.
What else is there? What else is going on? I'll tell you what else is going on. The flag is waving right now. That's what else is going on, ladies and gentlemen. That's what else is going on. Hey, you know what's fun? When you have a lot of salary cap space.
Isn't it great?
When you have a lot of salary cap space and you can look at positions of need and say, we can solve that problem.
But do they have enough cap space to sign Aaron Rodgers? Do they have enough?
Well, they got to bring Sam back, right?
Yeah, is there still a way? Is the ink dry on the, because it's not signed yet, right? Sam can't sign till tomorrow. Do they have enough space to bring Brett Favre back? Who's going to be quarterback?
Concerned. But I mean, how much fun? This is what we've been talking about for 6 years now, 7 years. It's been forever, which is when you don't have cap space, it's not fun because you can't address positions of need. And the one thing to keep in mind, so we're reading these contracts, but we don't really know a ton yet. Like the guarantees, the voids, all of that good stuff. So the difference between these contracts and a quarterback, a veteran QB contract, i.e. Kirk's, was, if you recall, that was all basically guaranteed. So like there was very little that you could do to play with that, right?
Yeah.
So like when we say Will Fries, 5 years, $88 million, we don't know that for sure. But what we know is he's going to be well paid for sure. And you have now, so I was going through before the show started, the positions of need, right? Because we've talked about this a lot. Defensive tackle ×2. They've signed 2 guys, or they've agreed to terms with 2 guys. Interior offensive line, we thought 2 of 3. They're not going to replace all 3, but like 2 guards and Bradbury, or Bradbury's out and a guard, ×2. They've done it. Cornerback, I would say ×2, but they've got 1 back now, and Byron Murphy Jr. got the bag, and they could still afford to go out this morning and sign these contracts.
But they kind of did times it by 2 because Isaiah Rodgers, who's a part-time player for the Eagles, but Isaiah Rodgers, for what they're looking for, which is guys who can handle one-on-one on an island man coverage, they mix in some zone too, but he was one of the top 5 or 6 highest-graded man coverage corners in the NFL, limited snaps. Right. But they might argue, no, dude, we actually, with Isaiah Rodgers and Mekhi Blackman, we love what we have at cornerback.
I come in praise. So I'm saying they are, oh, my arm's getting tired now because I'm older. They have literally gone out and in the first day and change, like just a little change, they have addressed all of these spots that we talked about.
Okay, I have an is this a hot take question for you guys regarding the activity here, all of these moves the Vikings have made in the last 24 hours. It is presented by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. So I'll let Deck shout out our friends there who are powering these hottest takes every week on the show. Go ahead, Deck.
Powering these hottest takes, and also a proud sponsor of our Score North Purple Daily Draft Party. So, if you're looking at that furnace, and some people do DIY stuff around the house, and that's okay. With the furnace and the HVAC, leave that to the professionals. Okay, call Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Hell, it was like 60 degrees. We're getting them maybe even to 70 this weekend. So as that ground thaws, now you got to look at that AC. And our friends at Standard Heating and Air can help out with that. Go to standardheating.com. Again, thank you to them for helping sponsor the Purple Daily Draft Party. We're looking forward to having them there. And also, if you need any HVAC, AC needs, it starts with Standard. Go contact Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
That draft party you mentioned too, the tickets are on sale for, and it's going to be, obviously they're not drafting top 10 like they were a year ago, but it's going to be a celebration. Maybe it's just a carryover of free agency celebration at the draft party. How they could trade out for all we care. We can gather and have fun for 4 hours. The 2025 Purple Daily Draft Party presented by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Tickets are on sale now. $10 for general admission. The VIP tickets are available too, and they are going fast. There's maybe like 30, 40 left, I want to say. So scorenorth.com/draft, scorenorth.com/draft, and find out more information. Is this a hot take?
All right.
We did 7 iterations of Purple Daily offseason blueprints where we did the entire Vikings offseason in an hour. And that included the draft. So we don't have the information about what the Vikings are doing in the draft. We have to wait till the end of April. But just based on the free agency portion of the offseason blueprints we did, is this a hot take? Kwesi Adofo-Mensah and the Vikings front office blew away any of our blueprints with what they've done in the last 24 hours.
The last one that we did was pretty
spicy,
pretty optimistic.
But we didn't add. They literally added 2 massive offensive line upgrades, 2 massive defensive line upgrades.
I thought we did that a couple of times.
But then they brought back Byron Murphy Jr.
Well, yeah, I mean, today is a day of celebration. So yeah, so it's all very close. Does this exceed what I realistically? Does this exceed what I realistically expected from them? Yes, it does. It does. But again, it goes to show it's been so long since they've had this much cap space, and this is the first time that Kwesi and this front office have had it. It just, again, it hammers home what you can do, like how much you can address. And my guess is that when we see the Hargrave, and especially him, but the Hargrave and Allen contracts, my guess is they're going to be very savvy, well-paid deals, right? Like, that's the thing. So I come in praise. Like, this is a very impressive haul. I just don't want to, like, there's no,
why would you not come in praise?
Well, but I'm saying, like, is this a hot take that they exceeded it? I don't know if it's a hot take, but it definitely exceeds what I realistically expected from them. That's very fair to say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see some of the contract language of stuff. However, it feels like I didn't think that they'd be able to get 2 major offensive line upgrades, and like Will Fries, and we'll see what the guaranteed money is there too. I know a lot of people look at the Packers signing and they were like, oh, that's way too much. Well, there might actually be just the signing bonus guaranteed, so there might be some easier cap maneuvering. Regardless, I mean, I thought they'd just go with the guards and they would roll with Bradbury. I thought that was my intuition.
Me too.
They have decided, nope, we're likely going to probably move on from Garrett Bradbury, get a better center, get a better guard. And I mean, is this a hot take? I guess we can dovetail from hot takes into hot takes, tag team them in and out here. This feels like this is going to be the meanest and biggest and best Vikings offensive line in 20 years. Like, when was the last time they've had a line this good? Probably 2009, right? But when is the last time they had an offensive line on paper that has 2 stud tackles, a great guard, a brand new center? I can't remember the last time they had an offensive line that looked this mean.
when you say mean too, I don't know if we can throw a picture up, but there are some Ryan Kelly pictures where he just looks like he wants to take your heart, put his hand down the throat of an opposing DT and rip a heart out. I mean, does he not look like don't F with me?
Yeah, his main headshot that is posted all over the place is just this stoic at best.
Yes.
But I want to rip your soul out through your
Correct.
chest cavity is the vibes I'm getting. Yeah.
They are definitely 100%. They are now going to be spicy in the interior line. And it has been football. Declan, to your point, in 2009 for sure. And there have been some spicy interior guys since then, but I don't think that you've had a line with like this much of a potential cohesive just beat you up. I'm very confident that the Vikings can, as of this morning, run the ball better, but just as importantly, or more so, JJ McCarthy, I think, is going to be very well protected. Very well protected. And to go back to the Bears signing Grady Jarrett yesterday, in my mind, makes it even more important, too. So I think spicy is going to be a very good word. Thank you. Look at that.
For the live YouTube audience here, these are the Ryan Kelly photos on the internet.
That top one.
Are there any of him smiling? It's like Jaden McDaniels with the Timberwolves.
I found one of him smiling at like some type of charity function. But look at this one.
Football.
Yeah, he's smiling because they didn't raise any money. He wants to see people suffer. That's what he's.
Look at that.
The big neck roll too. Yeah, I will say, like, with Ryan Kelly on the wrong side of 30, like the only potential balance it out, not red flag, but they're putting some money and resources into guys who are on the wrong side of 30 here, but it doesn't look like they're locking into, and we'll see some of the money on like Hargrave and Brandon and Jonathan Allen. But if you can get out of those deals after a year or two, it's not like you're locking in until they're 35 years old. Even if it does say it's a 3 or 4 year contract, it's usually pretty front loaded.
Yep, exactly.
So yeah, but by the way, last year the Colts had, according to Pro Football Focus, the 4th best run blocking offensive line in the NFL. So, and they've got great tackles. They had a bunch of formidable offensive linemen. So it's not just Will Fries and Ryan Kelly who are driving that bus. And Will Fries only played like the first month and a half because he broke his leg. Mm-hmm. But I love that the Vikings said, we need better run blocking. We literally can't score a rushing touchdown to save our lives. Once we get to the red zone, we're just relying on Sam Darnold to throw errant passes into the third row. So they went to one of the 5 best run blocking offensive lines and said, let's just poach 40% of their starters. And we'll plug those guys in and change the culture entirely. And we'll see what happens with Bradbury. But I love it. I love that they went out. They stuck to their guns on J.J. McCarthy. This is what you do. You don't get tantalized by we've talked about this for years. There are 2 quarterback categories you should strive to be in, unless you're forced to be in a different one. A Hall of Fame caliber guy with a blank check, like Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, whatever you guys want to make, we'll pay you. We'll figure out the rest of the roster. Other than that, stop paying Dak Prescott $60 million. Stop paying Kirk Cousins $45. Sam Darnold at 33, I think, is a nice bargain for a team in transition if you're the Seahawks. But when you have a top 10 drafted quarterback that you love and that the coach identified,
yes,
pay that man nothing for 5 years and build a roster. We've been begging for this for years on this show, and they finally did it.
And the other thing, too, though, is if you're a coach worth his salt, if you have a quarterback that you think in the deep down in your heart can win a championship, right? Like, you could have brought Sam back. He is less than, I think, a lot of people expected. But the reality is, do you think Kevin O'Connell at the end of the day thought, I could stick with Sam? Good price on this kid now. I've done a lot of work here, and I think I can get him to a championship. There's no way he thought that. And whether he's right or wrong on McCarthy, I think the other tentacle of what you're talking about, Phil, is you need a quarterback that you feel can do that. And quite clearly, from everything O'Connell has said, which I don't know if people ignored because they thought he was lying or what. It's sort of weird. But from everything that Kevin O'Connell has said since J.J. McCarthy was drafted, he thinks McCarthy can do this. Mm-hmm. And so not only are you surrounding him with talent based on the fact that he is a 4-year bargain now, but you're also doing it based on your assessment that he can win a championship. And in my opinion, I don't know what O'Connell thought about this. Kirk Cousins was never going to win a championship. Dude could barely win a playoff game. Darnold, like if you are the biggest Darnold defender in the history of the world, and you could only take one thing away from those last 2 games, it was he's never going to win a championship. It's just not going to happen. Like there's certain guys you watch and you're just like, no. And so whether he's right or wrong on McCarthy, what I respect is they are forging ahead with a plan based on it's the plan. And they've identified, like you don't go find a piece of gold and then say, I don't think so. So that's what I love about this. Like when you look at this today, this is how you do it too. The blueprint is right here, which is cheaper quarterback, but a quarterback that you trust. And by the way, you think he can become a franchise guy. But then right now, you fill in. And as of this morning, when all of these signings are done, you now have at least 4/5 of your offensive line. That should be one of the best lines in the entire league, providing health next season.
You also have some interesting talent to back up in the case of injuries, like Walter Rouse, for instance. You may still wind up with Blake Brandel as a starter. I wonder. I guess I could see them putting him back into that swing role, and maybe they put one of the younger guys in. And then there's been a little speculation on offensive line Twitter that maybe they ask Bradbury to make the switch to guard. But if you're Bradbury and you've never played anything other than center in the NFL, I think it's been since maybe second year in college that he played guard.
In college he played some guard, but yeah, I'm with you on this.
My guess is he's probably not happy about what happened yesterday. And then if I had to guess too, and we'll pull up the spreadsheet of glory here shortly, they might have to cut him to get under the cap and compliant with some of these moves. Because in fact, let me do this. I'm gonna pop this up here just so we can get a visual. You've been waiting for the spreadsheet of glory?
Yes, because it's going to tell us like this is now a question mark.
And by the way, shout out to listener Shauna, who's done 4 different updates on the mathematical equations to help us put a better visual on the screen. We've got these Excel spreadsheet experts that are just lurking in the Purple
Shauna.
Daily audience.
Thank you.
So let me pop this up here. And by the way, thank you to the over 5,000 of you that are hanging out with us live right now on a Tuesday morning on the Purple Daily YouTube channel.
Here you go. Little
if you could click that subscribe button and that like button, that would be amazing.
It's for you.
So let's pop the old spreadsheet of glory here up. Now, we don't know exactly some of the cap hit figures on all these contracts. So the color coding here, you'll see the internal free agents on the left, the external guys on the right.
The Vikings this is great.
In fact, I've actually been consulting with Rob Brzezinski and Kwesi the entire time.
Sounds like Shauna should be.
So anything in dark red are players that are gone. They're off the board. They've signed somewhere else. On the left side, you've got the internal free agents. The ones that are highlighted in a lighter shade of red are available to be signed, but not Vikings right now because they're free agents. Mm-hmm. Anyone in green, the Vikings have either re-signed, so like Byron Murphy Jr., Aaron Jones, Theo Jackson, Ryan Wright, or on the external side, Will Fries, Ryan Kelly, Javon Hargrave, Jonathan Allen, Isaiah Rodgers. And this is an incomplete list of all the free agents. These are just positions of need for the Vikings on the right there that we've put together for the blueprints. And we are kind of, so Byron Murphy, 3 years, $66 million, $35 million guaranteed. We're kind of estimating a first-year cap hit of $15 million. It might be a little higher. Again, we're waiting for the full figures to come out. Will Fries, we're kind of estimating like a $13 million first-year cap hit. It may be lower. Ryan Kelly, $9 million. I think, are we estimating that one? That one might be out. I'm going to put $8 million for that. But anyways, even with these estimations, like Javon Hart, so we know that Jonathan Allen's 3 years, $60 million. his first year cap hit is almost certainly going to be at least $13 million. I'm guessing on that. Javon Hargrave, we don't have figures on. So if I'm at all in the ballpark here on these new contracts, the Vikings are 13 million-ish above the cap right now, which means they got to clear some space. If you want Daniel Jones to come in for like $10 million. And the good news is there's a bunch of ways to do that. So you could clear out with a simple restructure of Brian O'Neill. You could clear out $8.5 million. You would convert his $17.5 million base to a signing bonus.
Yep.
You'd prorate it over the duration, 2 years left on his contract, and you'd save half of that number, about $8.5-ish million. You could cut Garrett Bradbury and save $3.622 million right there. And that gets you close.
Harrison Smith's coming. He's either going to retire or come way down, right? So what's his right now?
He's got that $6.5 million hit.
Yeah.
Let's say you save $2 million on that. I don't know. We're guessing. So that gets you back under the salary cap. You'd probably have to then, now you're getting into the restructure business of like a Josh Oliver. Is there a chance that they cut Harrison Phillips and save $2 million? I don't think so.
I don't think so. No. I think they're now 3 deep and or rotational. I don't think they would cut him. No. He's still a pretty good contributor.
Ed Ingram, by the way, is an automatic. That's $3 million right there.
Yep, they'll cut him. Poor Ed.
So we're just plugging these in. That gets you to $4 million.
There you go.
And what you could do on Daniel Jones too, if let's say he was 1 year, $10 million, you could do what you did with Sam Darnold, which is spread it over 2 years. You tack a void year on the second year, so it only hits you $5 million in the cap the first year, and then you got some dead money. But
there's a potential. There's a potential Josh Oliver restructure as well, right? Didn't we talk about that?
Yep. And we kind of thought that and the Metellus, they'd be extensions. We kind of thought those would be more like training camp timing, but maybe some of that changes as you're sitting here like, wait a second, we can get both Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave and Will Fries and Ryan Kelly. Okay, hey, Josh Oliver, come on down here. Let's give you a contract extension and smooth out that cap hit. Mm-hmm. So they're definitely pressed very much up against or over the cap, pending some internal restructurings to free up some more money. But at the same time, it looks like with the ages of some of these players and the length of contracts, it doesn't look like they've clogged up their books much beyond like 2025 and 26, because you got to start making room for Justin Jefferson's contract to bloat and Christian Darrisaw's contract to go up too.
Yes. So the only one that I've seen where the guarantees, and we have not seen the guys from today, the only one that I've seen where the guarantees could be considered really substantial is the Murphy contract, which is 3 years, 66 total, but 35 million of that is guaranteed. So that's the only one where it looks like you're locked in. And we should talk about that. That contract, congratulations, dude. He cashed in 22, on average, 22 million a season. I didn't know what he'd get, but I think we speculated in the last couple of shows that we did yesterday during our hat trick of shows that he would get probably about 18 or 19, and he's going to average 22. So, I mean, good for him.
He becomes one of the three, I think, one of the 3 highest paid cornerbacks in the NFL.
Based on AAV last year in 24, he would have been third.
Yeah, and I think now you've got J.C. Horn is up to 25.
It's changed for sure.
Jalen Ramsey, I think, is still at like 24.
He was number 1 last year.
Yeah. I've seen a couple comments here, just a little bit of nail biting about, just in the YouTube comment section, the number of injuries to some of these free agents. And that is a fair point. Mm-hmm. Jonathan Allen had a torn pectoral muscle that knocked him out for about half the season last year. He did come back and was really good in the playoffs. And then Javon Hargrave played the first 3 games, including that game against the Vikings, tore his triceps.
Yep.
And missed the rest of the season. And then Will Fries with the broken leg. But he's 26, going to be 27 years old.
Yep.
And I think obviously like a broken leg sounds terrible, but wouldn't you rather have an injury like that versus a completely shredded up knee or something that's going to cause.
And that's just going to happen too. Like that's not a medical staff like, oh boy. And then Kelly had, if I'm not mistaken, he missed 5 games because of a knee and 3 because of a neck. So there are definitely concerns. I will address that though, because I've been thinking about this. Because yes, you could definitely make a case of, well, you've just signed a lot of guys who have been hurt. On the Fry's broken leg, that's going to happen. Like it's just a fluke. On the other injuries, though, I think we need to take into account that it's 2025, and these teams, in some cases, the Vikings being one, right or wrong, and I think it's right to be quite upfront about it, they have a lot of trust in their medical staff. Like they employ, it's not like the old days where you got your physical and you got a pat on the back and you went out on the field and you shredded your knee and, oh boy, your career is done, right? Like if you look at this, the Vikings have a structure and a medical staff that does a ton of work. And in some of these cases, I am pretty certain that it's their opinion, and only time will tell, that they can keep these guys on the field and that some of the injuries they can actually avoid. It might sound crazy, but it's how it works now, man. It's a completely different approach, I think, than like 10 years ago. So it's not like the Vikings signed guys and got handed reports and said, oh, crap, Ryan Kelly had a neck problem too last year? We didn't know that. It's very much, they look at what the injury was, and then I think there is an internal confidence in some cases, or in most, that there are things that the medical staff here has more confidence that they can avoid than just, for instance, with the Colts.
And I think if it's me, and Kwesi clearly sees it this way, if you had 2 different options in free agency, would you rather overpay for a healthier, younger, but maybe more mediocre player? Like Patrick McCarry, for instance. I think all of us were like, yeah, Patrick McCarry, man, guy can play all 5 offensive line positions. Baltimore Ravens, he was their left guard. He can play center, left tackle if needed.
Yep. But
he's like the Willie Castro of the Baltimore Ravens. Like he can play all the positions. Is he elite at any of the positions? Not necessarily, but is he going to get out there and exist on your offensive line and maybe be average? Yeah, and you could use some of that too. But you might want or Aaron Banks. The Packers made that signing, and it's not quite as bad of a contract as initially reported because I think it's only the signing bonus that's guaranteed. But he is not regarded as anywhere near elite at his position as a starting left guard. But he's one of the younger guys, and he's relatively healthy and all those things. The Vikings kind of said, listen, we aren't interested in giving a ridiculous amount of money to non-needle moving players. We'd rather take on some of the injury risk, be confident that we can keep them on the field and stay healthy. Let's go get, even though they're on the wrong side of 30, for the next 2 years, we think Ryan Kelly, Javon Hargrave, and Jonathan Allen, who are all former, I think they're all former first-round picks. They're all former, like, high-end Pro Bowlers. All of them have been considered at one point or another elite at their position in the last 2 or 3 years. Let's see if we can tap a couple more years out of their careers and then figure out the future later. I love it. Javon Hargrave in particular. Now, he's been with Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, San Francisco. Prior to the injured season last year, he was ranked PFF as an interior pass rusher. He had an 86.5 pass rush grade in 2023. That ranked him 5th, just behind Aaron Donald, Dexter Lawrence, and Chris Jones. That's a year and a half ago. In 2022, according to PFF, interior pass rushers, pass rush grade, he was sitting at a 91.1 grade. Again, right there with the elite guys in the league. It was Dexter Lawrence, number 1, Chris Jones, number 2, Javon Hargrave, number 3, Aaron Donald, number 4, and Quinnen Williams, number 5. So that, if he was 28, you'd be assured that you're going to get that guy going forward for like 3 more years.
Right.
He might hit the age cliff, and you're kind of gambling on that.
Right.
But basically, if he's healthy and on the field the last 5 years, He is Dexter Lawrence, Chris Jones, those guys where you're a Vikings fan, you're watching like, man, wouldn't it be awesome to have someone that you could just turn them loose without dialing up, 3 extra guys blitzing to get some pressure on the quarterback? They have that. And Jonathan Allen, not quite on the same level necessarily at his peak, but Jonathan Allen has regularly been one of the top 10 interior pass rushers in the league, and you signed both of them this week. It's crazy.
Yeah, and if you look at this, so I've got in the past, 3 days now, if you go back to Sunday with the Jones signing, if you look at this list, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys that, are additions who I think can potentially help, all right? So Aaron Jones, 30. Ryan Kelly, 32 on May the 30th, but his contract is not big. Like it's 2 years, $18 million. I guarantee you, it's a team-friendly contract.
It's $9 million guaranteed. It's basically a 1 year.
Okay,
deal.
so that's fine. Allen is 30. Hargrave is 32. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 guys. Okay, so 3 guys. Murphy, who is a veteran, is still 27. He's young. Fries, 27. Broken leg, but again, a broken leg is sort of a fluke. Like a broken leg to me says nothing about like, oh my God, and like unless your leg just absolutely snapped. It didn't. And then Rodgers, 27. So yes, there are some older injured guys, but it's not 7 old guys. It's a mix. And in the case of the Kelly contract, I don't think that you probably, to our point from before, paid that much. So it's really not like you signed just a litany of old guys who are beat up. You are taking some chances, but keep in mind, I still fully expect that in a deep defensive tackle draft, the Vikings will take a defensive tackle. This is where this allows you in some ways to make up for your previous draft sins. If you can get this draft, if you could start to get the draft as right as possible, and I'm not saying that you're going to have all hits, but let's just say that you start to have more hits than you've had the past couple of years, this buys you time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this literally buys you time. And if guys develop now, they come in and as you want, they replace this group of guys.
Are you guys familiar with Brandon Thorne, the offensive line guru from YouTube, Twitter, etc.?
He's good.
So he wrote this about Will Fry. He had Will Fries, I believe, ranked as his number 1 free agent offensive lineman or guard. I think this is a guard list. And he says, Fries is coming off a devastating fractured right tibia injury suffered in week 5 last season. Before the injury, he morphed into one of the most underrated starting right guards in the NFL over the last couple seasons. He entered the league as a 7th-round pick in 2021, carved out a starting role. He relies on refined technique, good play strength, and elite finishing skills.
Football.
That stand out even on the line featuring an all-time great finisher in Quentin Nelson. Assuming a clean bill of health, Fries is good enough to be the 2nd or 3rd best starter on a unit. So Darrisaw, O'Neal, and then maybe it's a battle between the 2 Colts guys you brought in for your 3rd best offensive lineman. His competitive toughness will set the tone for a room.
Football.
So you've got 2 SOBs now blowing snot side by side is what you're telling me.
That's right.
Just Sundays are going to be nothing but snot fests.
Oh,
IOL.
On the comp pick equation too, I'm seeing some updates here. This is from, is it Nick Cordy or Nick Court?
They're actually in good shape right now. They've played as well.
He's the comp pick guy
Yeah.
on the internet. And it looks like, based on the activity here this morning, it looks like their net value is a 7th-round comp pick right now. But there may be a couple guys that help. I don't think it's going to balance out to be a 3rd-round comp pick, but we'll see. But they are going to net a comp pick of some kind, it looks like, in 2026, because Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave do not count toward the equation.
Yeah.
Nor do Byron Murphy Jr., Aaron Jones, any of the interior guys you brought back.
Right. So who have they signed? Who's going to factor into their comp pick? Fries for sure.
Incoming guys: Will Fries, Ryan Kelly, and Isaiah Rodgers. Right.
Yeah, and I don't think that Kelly and Rodgers are going to be huge factors given those contracts. Fries will. But I think you're
Fries
still
is
in
the
decent
highest.
shape.
Fries is the highest ranked in the comp pick formula for the Vikings.
I think at the end of the day, you could be looking at and I mean, this is just from Sports Dad Comp Picker. I think you could be looking at a 5th-round pick.
You're just making that up, or did you do some quick calculations?
No, I'm ballparking it. Okay. I'm thinking, but this is where so the Allen and Hargrave signings are sneaky too because of that. Because they are free agents who were cut, which means that as soon as they sign, the Vikings can announce it today.
Jonathan Allen, who has been announced, by the way.
Exactly right.
The Vikings did announce that.
Exactly right. I'm going to go with 5th-round pick, 2026.
You can make it a write that down prediction tomorrow.
It's not a bad idea.
A bunch of people wondering if we would be willing to do a mock draft simulation here to kind of finish out the blueprint. Now that we know the bulk of because this is the bulk of their free agency activity. They might bring back Daniel Jones or something.
Right.
I think we should do that here in a moment after we shout out Blackstack. So in a couple of days, Thursday this week, March 13th from 5 to 7 p.m., we are holding our next Purple Daily Unplugged event at Blackstack in St. Paul, a free agency edition. And at this point, it should be a fun celebration of the week and of the offseason. So come hang out with us at Blackstack in St. Paul on Thursday from 5 to 7 o'clock. Everyone in attendance gets a free Purple Daily Blackstack pint glass. We do ask, the tickets are free to get in. We do ask that you register and get a ticket so we can have a head count. ScoreNorth.com/PD Unplugged. That's ScoreNorth.com/PD Unplugged for that event at Blackstack. Also, Butcher and the Boar. Hey, if you're looking to wine and dine any more free agents, we do recommend Butcher and the Boar be on your list, Vikings.
Absolutely true. And guess what? It's a great place, a gathering space for Southern style hospitality. So you know what? Football players, linemen would love it, right? Southern style hospitality. That means a lot of good food. That means steaks. That means fantastic food. Happy hour 4 to 6 every day. In fact, here's something that an interior offensive lineman would love. It's the Judd Special, Sports Dad Special. A beer, a brat, and a shot for $15. You talk about a celebration. That is a huge handmade beer brought with sauerkraut and mustard. Any draft beer, any rail shot. Like if I am a defensive tackle, if I'm Javon Hargrave, I say, take me to the Butcher and the Boar in the North Loop, and I'm going to get that Judd Special, and then I'm going to sign that big contract, and then I'm going to be snarly on Sundays and do nothing but hit quarterbacks. Butcher and the Boar in the North Loop.
Amen. All right, boys.
I want a mock. I want to mock.
You guys asked for it, so we will deliver here.
I love this, actually.
We're basically going to take the baton here. We're going to join up with what the Vikings have done in reality. They've completed the first section of the offseason blueprint. So now that we know a bunch of their free agent signings, let's take it home with a mock draft simulation. Real quick, just so we can all get on the same page here. What would you guys view? They changed out 40% of their offensive line. They made a couple big splashes along the defensive front, albeit both guys are not like long-term solutions in Hargrave and Allen.
Sure.
Running back, they brought back Jones, but there's some room to draft in a thick running back draft. So give me the positions of need here.
Running back, defensive tackle, center, still, right?
Long term.
Cornerback. Yeah. Could definitely add there. And then my sneaky one for the past month or so, off the ball linebacker. And QB, yeah, you can take a QB for sure. For sure. I will say
Are you off wide receiver?
No, that's it. Well, that's another one. See? I do think that we should do one thing. I'm not going to advocate trading back through all rounds, but I do think that we should definitely trade back here.
Yeah, let's see what the board looks like at 24. And real quick, I'm also going to, on the settings, we've been largely doing, there's like a public versus PFF board slider here. And the draft never plays out 100% how the public thinks it will. So I'm just going to go one notch on this slider.
Okay.
I don't know if it's going to create chaos or not. We'll see. 7 rounds, turbo speed, 24th pick in the Vikings. All right, here we go. Titans are on the clock. Let's just start the draft. We'll get to 24 and we'll see. We have 4 trade offers.
Receivers.
Let's take a look at what happened here. So the number 1 pick was Travis Hunter to the Titans. Kind of love that. Cam Ward, number 2 to the Browns. Abdul Carter, edge rusher to the Giants. Ashton Ginty went 5th to the Jaguars.
Yeah. You know what? I prefer him there than Chicago, for sure.
They've got Shadur Sanders still on the board here, which is what happened last Thursday as well.
The Athletic had a mock that had him falling out of the first round entirely.
Yeah. Yeah, he's way down the board here.
Will Levis syndrome.
Yeah, look at this. He is the 47th ranked player on the board. It's crazy. So, yeah, we're sitting here at 24. You got Derek Harmon on the board. You got Walter Nolan. You got running backs and interior defensive players. Great. So, Gray Zabel, the tackle from NDSU, I wonder if they would still be in the market for an offensive lineman. Like, trade back. I could still see them. Hey, we need another guard. We don't trust Blake Brandel long term.
Right.
And they could convert. He's been a tackle in college, but you could convert him to guard. He can he's played literally every position to some extent in college at NDSU. So let's check out what the trades are. Oh, okay. The Cowboys at 44. So we'd have to move. That's the
No.
Cowboys at 44, Dolphins at 48, Chargers at 54, Packers at 50.
I don't like this.
Yep. We're gonna have to do BPA here, or force a trade.
We're not going to force a trade.
BPA then.
Well, wait. I'm going to fight you guys on this. Let's just see what the Cowboys would give up to move up 20 spots. The 76, the 150. In reality, you would probably ask for like next year's second round pick too. Next year's third round pick.
Okay.
So here's what it would be. It would be you'd move back 20 spots. You'd pick up the 76, next year's third, and the 150 from the Cowboys.
So
you'd pick up 2 extra picks and an extra pick in 2026.
All right.
Or you stick and pick at 24.
What do you think?
I mean, you guys are the ones that.
Well, I immediately dismissed it, but
insta no trades.
Yeah. But then you showed me what I could get back, and now I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued because I'm getting a 2026 3 as well. I might have jumped the gun in reacting too quickly.
And we could also move. You could trade back and then move back up the board too if you want.
All right, just make the trade.
Well, that was a quick pivot. Okay.
You know what? It's the draft. I've got to be flexible.
Let's see. We'll offer it.
I got to be flexible.
Okay, they're not accepting.
Okay, then
trade.
screw them. BPA.
Okay. All right. So BPA. Do you want to go Derek Harmon? You want to go interior defensive presence and just go completely all in free agency in the draft?
I'm going to make a case.
Or you want to go Omari and Hampton running back North Carolina?
I'm going to make a case that we should go because it's a deep defensive tackle draft. And while we have solved the problem for now, it's not permanently solved. And we do have to be cognizant of the fact that both Allen and Hargrave have been injured recently. I would go best defensive tackle available.
And that would be, in this scenario, Derek Harmon, Oregon Duck.
Quack, quack.
All right, let's turbo this up to 97. This is where we might have to start trading back here, boys. I don't know why it doesn't. There we go. Let's turbo this thing. So we have 4 picks remaining, the 97, the 140, and the 161. Running back is definitely going to still be a need because right now your running back room is Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler, and I guess CJ Ham technically.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, okay, we're back on the clock. Oh, look at this. Thor's guy, Devin Neal, running back from Kansas, is the best player on the board. Interesting. Here's the 2 trade offers. Eagles. Man, these teams, we have to move back to 129. So we'd have to move back 32 spots. If we did that, I'm curious what the running back situation would be. Let's see here. There's the Ohio State guys are gone.
Yeah.
We need a running back.
Yeah, that's a lot to be gone.
Yeah.
Are we sticking and picking again here?
Yep.
Boy, it's I feel like this is going against every fiber of.
Well, they probably would look to make a first round trade there, but I mean, we made a good faith offer to Philadelphia.
It takes two to tango when it comes to trading. All right, we're drafting Devin Neal, the running back. He's easily the best running back available. And then we're going to be back on the clock with the 140. I think we have to trade back here.
Okay.
Just see what we can pick up.
Yeah. Okay.
With remaining needs being center, cornerback. Be nice to grab a cornerback at some point here. Because your cornerback room right now, though, is pretty interesting. So you've got Byron Murphy Jr., Isaiah Rodgers, and Mackay Blackman, all 27 or younger, probably fighting for those top 3 cornerback spots. And then you've got Dwight McLaughlin, one of the premier undrafted free agents from last year that they really like. But yeah, you're definitely going to be in the market for a cornerback. But you also have safety. Like, you're going to play 3 safeties a lot. So Metellus, Theo Jackson, Harrison Smith, Jay Ward might get some run. And wasn't Jay Ward getting some run as a corner at times during camp last year too?
Yeah, it didn't go great, but they did give him a shot there for sure.
All right, we have 5 trade offers here, boys.
All right.
First pick in the 5th round. Jaguars, we're at the 140. The Jaguars are calling from the 143.
Yeah.
The Cowboys from the 150. Let's pick up some bulk here. Let's talk to the Cowboys. The 150, if we asked for the 170, it's a no. The 172, they have all these picks. The 74. The 189, no.
What the?
The 211, we could pick up the 211. How about the 211 and the 249? No. Yeah, I mean, at this point in the draft, moving back 10 spots is just not that valuable. But we can still pick up an extra pick by doing this.
All right.
You good with it?
Yep. Let's do it.
Run off of that. Here we go. Trade not accepted. These guys are all right. Screw the. So this is the first time we've been outright
We're running into
rejected.
roadblocks right and left from our counterparts.
All right. What about the Giants moving back? Well, this is their. Let's see, 155, 221 for the 140. This trade will likely be accepted. Let's make them kick in both those picks, the 221 and the 248, to move back 15 spots. Trade accepted. Okay.
Yo.
All right, so we move back 15 spots. We pick up 2 picks in the 7th round, and we're back on the clock here with the 155. Quincy Riley is Thor's favorite cornerback in this range. He's on the board.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably
That's a good pick.
I think we go for it.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll grab him.
Little Louisville.
And then with the 161 here, just for fun, let's check these trade offers. The Bills want to swap the 171. Could we get the 178? No, there's no chance. The 205? No. The 207? No. No, they're not going to. The Raiders at 181, we moved back 20 spots. Could we pick up one of these? Oh, yeah. We could pick up both these. Maybe just one of them. Let's pick up an extra pick here.
All right.
Because you know they're going to do this. They're going to 100% do this. All right. So we got 3 7th-round picks that we didn't have before. And we're back on the clock with the 181 early 6th-round pick. Jonah Monheim, center from USC. No idea if he's good, but he is 6'5", 310 pounds, though.
Wow.
Big boy.
Large human being.
Yep.
Okay.
So where are we at right now as far as... I mean, I don't mind a center.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do a center.
All right. Let's do it. Boom. Well, we don't have to spend an hour,
I wouldn't object to a center.
All right. So we got a center. We got a cornerback. Remaining needs for us, or just best player available, safety, linebacker, and wide receiver with our cavalcade of 7th-round picks. Here's the 214. Actually, we're still in the 6th round. Oh, Max Brosmer's on the board if you want to bring in a quarterback.
Little project right there. I think you
dude.
could probably sign him safely as a UDFA.
What about
Iowa tight end?
An Iowa tight end.
Can't go wrong with an Iowa tight end. They're all good.
Tight end you, baby.
It is. It's unbelievable.
6'6", 240. Can we take an Iowa tight end just for fun?
Yeah,
all right, we're
on
taking
board.
Iowa tight end. Let's go.
Probably going to be a Pro Bowler in a couple of years.
Johnny Munn's replacement. And
That's another good
then
point.
we got there's a couple RJ Micken, couple safeties on the board. Jason Marshall, cornerback, Florida. We could use some more cornerback talent.
All right.
A lot of safeties and cornerbacks sitting around here.
Do we want to go safety here?
Sure. All right, we'll just take random guy from Nevada there.
I love it.
And then we have one more
Thor,
pick.
who Thor knows everything about. So
we
on
know
Thor's
nothing
Day,
about.
he'll tell you like every stat about the guy, every factoid about the dude.
And then with the 248, here you go. Kareem Reed. There's your linebacker, I think, Judd, from Utah here. Now his information's not loading, but let's draft him with our final pick in the 2025 draft. There we go. All right. PFF is loading the grading. So this is it. We just did all the homework for Kwesi to complete this magical offseason. According to PFF, there's a couple of A's at the top. Oh, it hates the C pluses. A B plus. Okay.
It doesn't like. How can you not like an Iowa tight end? It gives him a C plus.
A C plus on the Iowa tight end and on the USC center right there. So if it played out like this and you wound up still with a high-end interior defensive guy in Derek Harmon and then a high-end running back from Kansas to go on top of and a 5th-round cornerback there, kind of a project there in Quincy Riley, how would you guys feel?
I feel pretty good about this. I love the fact that we immediately bring in an upper echelon defensive tackle to rotate in, but also be prepared to start if one of the two veterans gets hurt and or just starts to regress. We now have the Aaron Jones insurance backup, which is great, which I would hope it's a 50-50 split or something like that. Like you do have to take a snap load off him. We added depth to the cornerback room. And again, Ryan Kelly's not a kid. It's a 2-year contract that, to your point, Phil, from before, is really a 1-year contract. I think it's a good draft. And like you said on Luke Lachey, Johnny Mutt Insurance.
Yeah, we need some competition for the new best third tight end in the NFL.
Yes.
And what better
Luke
school
Lachey
to tap?
sounds like a tight end, by the way.
Yes, he does.
I do kind of hate this in that obviously if there was an opportunity to move back from 24 that wasn't moving 20 spots back, that's a little unrealistic. There's going to be teams early in the second round or maybe late in the first round that you could do business with. So I think that part of it. And then to not be able to do it again at 97 is kind of annoying. Hey, the Northwest Sports Show. Seems like a good time, huh?
Absolutely. In fact, it's going to be this Thursday through Sunday at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Find the newest in fishing and outdoor gear, boats, RVs, travel, power sports, and more. Check out daily seminars from your favorite outdoor experts. Plus, explore family-friendly features across the show, including their new RV area. On Thursday, it's Senior Day, free admission for those 60-plus with a valid ID at the box office. On Friday, it's a Friday night fish fry. There is nothing better than a good fish fry. Enjoy a 4-piece walleye dinner with tartar sauce, lemon wedge with fries, which is actually sneaky good, while supplies last. Admission, adults 13-plus at the box office, $15. Adults 13-plus if you buy online right now, $13. Children ages 12 and under, free with paid admission of an adult. Plan today and save $4 on tickets using the promo code SCORE at northwestsportshow.com. That's the promo code SCORE to save $4 on tickets. northwestsportshow.com is the website. The code again is SCORE.
We do have breaking Daniel Jones news here in just a moment after we shout out Minnesota Rusco. Since 1955, Minnesota Rusco has been Minnesota's hometown remodeler. They offer a multitude of home improvement products, services. March is very chaotic in the football world. It doesn't have to be chaotic if you're looking for a remodel, because in March, everything at Minnesota Rusco is 20% off. It's 20% off bathrooms, kitchens, windows, siding, roofing, doors, decks, and no interest, no monthly payments for a full year. 20% savings on everything all month long at Minnesota Rusco. You can even surf the internet and find incredible 5-star experiences and reviews from people who have used Minnesota Rusco for various interior, exterior remodels. The Vikings did some remodeling of their roster in the last 24 hours. Not sure if Minnesota Rusco helped with that, but 70 years of experience you can count on Minnesota Rusco to make your remodel a reality. MinnesotaRusco.com. MinnesotaRusco.com. All right, boys. The Vikings news continues to pour in. Daniel Jones, in perhaps the biggest mistake of his entire career, has agreed to sign with the Indianapolis Colts to compete with Anthony Richardson for that starting quarterback job.
Okay. Good luck.
He has rejected a scholarship offer to Quarterback Rehabilitation University.
It wasn't complete. He's leaving too early.
He got
I'm good now.
more NIL money to go to the Colts, apparently.
I'm good now. No, I'm ready to start again. No, man, you shouldn't start again. No, I'm ready. I'm going back out there.
This does open up a big conversation about who the Vikings' backup quarterback is going to be. Zach Wilson off the board to Miami.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones off the board. And it's possible, though, that the Vikings made this decision for him because we did the cap math as best we could about 30 minutes ago on the show here. And it's like, all right, it looks like they're like $15 million over the cap. No team has spent more money in free agency since the start of the negotiation period than the Vikings, according to Over the Cap. So it is possible the Vikings price themselves out of Daniel Jones being part of Quarterback Rehabilitation University. But I can tell you what's going to happen. If this was Daniel Jones' decision, and I hate to say this, like he seems like a nice guy, but he's going to start like 6 or 7 games. Maybe Anthony Richardson gets the nod to start the season as one last ditch effort. He either gets hurt because he takes too many hits or he plays poorly. Daniel Jones comes in for like a little less than half the season, does not perform well, in part because the Colts just lost 40% of their offensive line to the Vikings.
Yes.
And he will then be relegated to official backup quarterback status for the rest of his career. I legitimately think this is a gigantic mistake if it was his decision. And again, maybe the Vikings said, we got no more money for you, buddy. Sorry.
What if the Vikings made Jones's decision for him, but they're playing chess because they know that Jones is going to go there? It's probably going to be a disaster. But at the end of the day, they're going to pick Jones over Richardson, beginning the downfall and beginning Anthony Richardson heading towards quarterback rehab school so he can reunite with his guy KOC, who we know loves him. What if that's the long play?
Dude, chestnut checkers.
They're like, you know, it's Daniel Jones. He's okay, and we helped him. But I can get my hands and work and mold like a fine piece of quarterback clay, Anthony Richardson.
I love the idea. I know that you're kind of tongue-in-cheek here. He needs to be able to complete a pass more than half the time for him to be even eligible. It's like you need like a certain ACT or SAT score to even like get into the school.
He's got those
if you can't complete 52% of your passes, dude,
I know,
I'm sorry.
But KO and I are just like the mechanics.
He's thrown like 500 passes since high school. Like, yeah, he's barely even thrown the football. Like Joe Burrow had as many pass attempts last season as Anthony Richardson's had in 7 years.
Yeah,
you know?
Well, that's even more reason why you might not get admitted to Quarterback Rehabilitation University.
All I know is KO going into the draft really liked him. He really liked him, and now he'd like to, as Chili would say, he'd like to put hands on him to help him out. That's what Chili always said. I need to put hands on him. It's like, what are you talking about?
No, don't put your hands on anyone, Brad. Actually, just take a step back. Just take a step back.
Can I get my personal space back, please?
It is a 1-year deal for Daniel Jones to the Colts, according to Rap Sheet. Parties are finalizing it. While Minnesota was a strong option, Jones opts to compete with Anthony Richardson in Indianapolis. And not that this needed to be official, because all of the reporting on the Vikings quarterback situation has just been off nationally the last 2 months. But if the Vikings weren't willing to give Daniel Jones a chance to compete with J.J. McCarthy, Aaron Rodgers ain't coming here either. So this is J.J. McCarthy 100% moving forward for anyone that needs to hear that today.
Exactly. And this is what amazed me, though. It's like there's going to be another competition. I just saw a comment, I believe it was from Christy, and it's a decent point, and that is a comment about Mac Jones.
Mac Jones
available? Like that fits. I know you don't like it, folks, but that is what a backup really is. Like Sam Darnold was a safety blanket, and it ended up working geniusly, but Mac Jones to me is way more of like what you're in store for now. because you're right. It's J.J. McCarthy's job. Like, we're not going to see the first team reps when camp starts are not going to be split.
Would you rather have Mac Jones or 28-year-old Gardner Minshew?
Mac Jones. I think I'm done. I think Gardner Minshew is. I mean, it's close, but I don't know if Mac Jones is in the right environment. I don't know he's a disaster, and Gardner's not. But I think I'm more intrigued by Mac Jones.
Teddy Bridgewater.
He's a high school coach now, who comes back to the Lions to try to gravy train championships at the end.
There's some great names being thrown out here. I mean, Marcus Mariota's out there. Jameis Winston.
Yep.
You poo-pooed that yesterday.
I completely did.
Mac Jones fits the profile of the former first-round pick that Kwesi likes to bring in. I think Minshew would be really interesting because he has shown stretches where he can win games with infrastructure, and he's not that old yet.
True.
But if you're looking to maximize someone's experience in quarterback rehabilitation university, let's say Minshew goes through the program. Does the league then view him as rehabilitated and ready to start, and you could get a comp pick if he signs somewhere? I think Mac Jones is – I like Minshew better than Mac Jones, but I think Mac Jones could still be viewed as salvageable as a former first-round pick if he goes through the system here.
If the Vikings call Mac Jones people and I'm Mac, I race here to sign. I race here.
Yep, that'll be an episode here. I mean, we could even touch on that. We're going to do a scoop session here shortly with our guy Doogie, which will be available on the podcast feeds. But wow, what a morning for the Vikings. If you just ducked in here at the end of this, just before we say goodbye. Last night it was the re-signing of one of the I'd say top 15 cornerbacks in the league last year, Byron Murphy Jr., 3 years, $66 million, half of it guaranteed. And then this morning, Kwesi woke up and said, Will Fries, 5 years, $88 million, come on in. And then Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen completely overhauling your interior pass rush, going from maybe the worst interior pass rush win rate team in the league to, if those guys stay healthy, top 10 pretty easily, I would say.
If you are Brian Flores, how happy are you right now? Like, you didn't get a head coaching job, but the last 2 years now, they have gone wisely out of their way to remold your personnel with probably a bunch of guys that you basically put on a wish list.
Yeah, it's going to be, Brian Flores, have fun, man. Have fun crafting your plan. You don't have to blitz as often. If you don't want to, it's up to you. You can, if you still want to blitz half the time, it's up to you.
No, not
so. Hey, click that like button, the subscribe button here on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. Thank you guys. We had a pretty crazy day with the 3 episodes yesterday, and then to wake up to all of this news. It's been a fun little 24 hours. If you're a Vikings fan, for the sports dad Judd, producer Dex, I am Phil. We'll be on the lookout for any other things that might drop. I don't know that they have any other money to spend later today. But we got Write That Down predictions tomorrow. It'll be Thursday before you know it. And then the draft party tickets available, scorenorth.com/draft. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. See ya.